Well, percenters, welcome back, Coach Tommy. How stealing from the best turned your franchise around? Who are they talking about? Are they talking about the Nugs?
Random NBA game.
Nugs Spurs.
And see something absolutely beautiful and breathtaking
Dang.
you wouldn't have seen in the first 100 years of the sport. Here's a center racing the ball up the floor,
Sabonis.
slipping a bounce pass to a cutting guard, who then moves it to the corner so it can skip around the horn to an open shooter who drills a 30-foot three.
Herder.
In 4 seconds of nirvana, the basketball touched all 5 players without ever hitting the hardwood.
If you're a really good high school, even middle school team, you are already doing this. Not on every play, but...
And it was all started by a big man. We've reached a point where centers initiate offense like point guards, well-coordinated screening, and
the game has evolved. It's really time to evolve the positions.
movement
I've
bends
been-
defenses to the breaking point.
I've been off of
And
positions for
one
a
team in
really long
particular
time.
has combined these forces to create a shockingly effective offense.
If you guys don't know me, sniper, playmaker, slasher, defender, and scorer. And then there's a 6'1", but not really in the NBA, is an entertainer.
Around its playmaking center and its movement shooters.
The golden
Sports
standard.
are a copycat industry.
If you copy and you don't do it better than the original, you'll never win. So you shouldn't actually be copying. You should be innovating and or stealing from history, because things repeat itself. You go from big ball to small ball, it's going to go back to big ball or some new variation of that. It used to be just one giant center, and then it was a dynamic duo, and then you had like a trio, and now it seems like it's 5 out, run and gun, up tempo. Innovate.
One team wins a title,
Don't copy. Innovate.
and the other teams often scramble to emulate them. The Golden State Warriors have made 6 straight NBA finals.
Everybody's been chasing the Warriors, trying to do what the Warriors do, and who has successfully done it? Nobody.
When their core of Steph Curry, Draymond Green, and Klay Thompson are all healthy, grabbing 4 rings in the process. Yet, most
Who was before that? The Lakers, Shaq and Kobe, and then you had like Tim Duncan, and then you had the LeBron
teams in the league
LeBron-centered
play like
action.
the Warriors. That's a little weird, right? Like, why isn't the entire league stealing from the most dominant dynasty of the 21st century?
Why? Because I just said you don't have the right pieces, you don't have the right culture.
Since 2016, the average NBA team scores off of a movement play, meaning a screen, cut, or handoff, about 17% of the time. This has remained steady every year, with most teams a few percentage points higher or lower. But more than 25% of Golden State's offense usually comes from movement actions, lapping the league every year. So the league hasn't produced a bunch of Golden State copycats, probably because it's hard to replicate the shooting and cutting of the Splash Brothers and the passing of forwards like Draymond and Andre Iguodala. But their influence has slowly crept into the league. For instance, a number of teams now run these split cuts, a Warriors staple where 2 players screen and cut off each other without the ball. One of those teams is the Sacramento.
It's easier to get open off the ball than on the ball. If you guys have followed me for any number of videos, I've been saying this forever.
Led by new coach Mike Brown, who, not so coincidentally, spent the last 6 seasons as an assistant coach for the Warriors. And he's taken a few concepts with him up the road to Sacramento.
Mike Brown, a decent coach who was more of a defensive coach, rode LeBron's coattails. When he was on the Lakers, got fired pretty quick. Learning from different coaches. Coaches need to evolve, players need to evolve. The game evolves, so you better evolve or die.
Split action. But the Kings also have a little of that movement shooting, with newcomer Kevin Huerter playing like a diet Steph Curry role, moving around off the ball, and then attacking a little with the ball after he catches it.
Looking like Jimmer Fredette.
Coming off a screen,
Jimmer.
then goes down to set a screen, only so he can curl back up off another one for a catch and shoot. And
Damn, Kyle Korver rolling over in his
the
grave.
smoothest of pump fakes shows why he goes by Red Velvet.
Red Velvet,
This
come
time,
on, baby.
Huerter feels the defense shifting toward one side of the floor.
There was Red Mamba, Brian
As his teammate
Scalabrine.
passes, he cuts to the basket, and that pass might
45
briefly
cut.
be open, but Draymond recovers to shut it off. And then Herder relocates to the corner, a Curry specialty, only to touch pass it to their other deadly shooter, Malik Monk.
Okay, why does the movement plays work a lot? Because it takes a ton of intelligence. It takes a few people willing to run their butt for no reward. Steph Curry runs around like crazy. Klay Thompson runs around like crazy.
But he's at 43% on wide open threes since 2021, and he can also move into his three-point shots.
Malik Monk couldn't get out of LA so fast.
And like Herder, Monk isn't just a threat to shoot in these
That
spots.
boy can dunk.
He can flow into on-ball action and create as a passer or scorer himself. This can lead to some beautiful game possessions, with moving, passing, and cutting blending together for easy offense.
Speed stuff. That's beautiful right there.
Himself.
Go screen,
This can lead to some
45,
beautiful
roll,
game possessions,
boom, go
with
screen,
moving,
handoff, slice,
passing, and
give it right away.
cutting,
Here comes a curl
blending
cut.
together for easy offense. And
Quote,
it's led
unquote,
to a
don't
rise
jump to
in
pass.
possessions this year for the Kings, jumping from the middle of the pack all the way up to second this season behind Golden State. So they don't move quite as much as the Warriors, but they've certainly borrowed some of their concepts. Herder flies out of the paint around a corner screen, and his gravity pulls Curry and a second defender out of the way for an open dunk.
His
This
gravity.
one just combines a ton of popular
all exit screens.
screening principles.
Staggers.
Monk sets a back pick, then flies off another
Little
screen.
Spain action.
But all that screening can confuse inexperienced defenders, so Monk ends up with a giant alley to attack, and he's been a really strong finisher. This one
Sacramento Kings getting some love.
set with Domantas Sabonis at the elbow, split cuts involving Herder, and if they fizzle out,
We talked about playmakers. Can these guys make the right decision? The right decision isn't always pass it. If you're not able to make that pass, lob over the top to that guy holding the ball is actually a good decision to get off the read. You know, inexperience in quarterbacks, they always want to throw it to the first read. They stare down that guy. They tend to force it in.
and into a handoff. And
Get to your
Red
second and
Velvet
third
playmaking
reads.
effectively off that action back to Sabonis. And that brings us to the second great team, or really great
This is what a lot of teams don't do.
handoff. And
When you
Red
try to
Velvet
post up a guy,
effectively off
everybody
that
just
action
stares and
back to
waits.
Sabonis. And that brings us to these
Right here, when you're trying to post up a guy or you have mismatch and everybody's just staring and then trying to post, this guy just at the top just tends to move back further and further. The opposite wing, if he just 45 cuts, he'll draw in everybody to him. Even if he doesn't get the ball, he can cut through.
second great team, or really
Boom, there it is. So when he gets the bottom guy to come, he could flip it all the way to the corner, and then a Herder at the top can relocate to the wing. He can shift over.
great player that the Kings have emulated to create this offense.
I mean, that was terrible. Those guys could have moved all around him.
Well, the Warriors have differentiated from pick and roll teams with their movement. The Nuggets have built elite offenses around Nikola Jokic's playmaking in the middle of the floor. Jokic, the reigning two-time MVP and one of the best offensive players ever for my money, hits cutters from the high post and plays a ton of two-man games, running handoffs with his guards, and then coming back to receive the ball, and from there he can attack in a variety of ways.
Joker.
Most teams run some offense from the elbow or use handoff sets in one way or another, but the Kings have their own Jokic light in Sabonis. He's not the complete offensive savant that Jokic is, but he's
Not even close, dude.
as another point guard on the floor
I did a video a long time ago. Sabonis is very robotic.
and harmonize with Sacramento's shooters. One Denver staple is Jokic dribbling at a teammate in the corner on an empty side of the floor, and the Kings can run the same action with Sabonis, and because he's such a gifted
Every player in the league can do that. This is basic.
downhill finisher, he can get it back and score. A big part of Sacramento's offense is running plays through Domantas at the top of the key. And
Like right here.
gifted downhill finisher, he can get it back. and
How does a
score.
defense play it, and how do you play off of it? See, this is a swiper, De'Aaron Fox here. He picks up the ball on the handoff. He senses the double team, so he picks the ball up and gets held up.
Running plays
Either you hold it and slice through there, or just get rid of it quick, give it to the guy confidently.
So Demonis at the top of the key.
Like,
and
that's
this
not
connects their motion offense with their Jokic
smart
offense.
play.
A wing cuts through, Herter fakes them.
Right there's the high pass. When he turns his head, you can lob it right and zip it right over the top.
One but two back doors to lose his defender. And
Right here, you can see Sabonis already panicking for no reason.
Motion offense with their Jokic offense. A wing cuts through.
There's
Herter
no
fakes
pressure
them.
here.
One but two back doors to lose his defender, and coming downhill, he feathers it back to Sabonis for an agile finish. All of these plays have beautiful natural counters that are hard to guard. It's the same action this time, but
45
De'Aaron
cut,
Fox cuts
back cut.
door, shows a little patience, and draws help to dime up a cutting teammate.
Like, if they were more sharp, these would be instant
It's
shots.
the same action this time, but De'Aaron Fox cuts back.
Right here, boom, floater, step through. There should be a guy in the corner. These cuts need to happen faster. Two guys shouldn't be cutting.
Help to dime up a cutting teammate. These principles have made Sacramento one of the most efficient offenses in the league this year, and per synergy, they're the second most efficient half-court team per play, if we exclude putbacks. But the Kings are also the second fastest paced team in the league, pushing it down court before defenses are set and generating good early offense. And the fastest player
pace
on this very fast team is, fittingly, their star point guard, Fox. De'Aaron is one of the fastest players in the league, and his pace puts pressure on defenses early. The shot clock is at 18 here. There's at least one open three in the corner, but a layup is even better. So there's a little 7 seconds or less in the Kings as well. Those Steve Nash and Mike D'Antoni teams were some of the best offenses.
I don't know if Fox has the same decision-making ability as Steve Nash. Definitely can't shoot like Steve Nash.
Who have also posted some of the fastest paced offenses of the 21st century over the last few seasons.
Draymond. It makes them more successful. Will they win a championship? Hell to the no. You can copy successful stuff. You'll be more successful, especially if you've been probably the worst franchise in forever. You'd be a little bit more successful, but are you going to win any championships? I highly doubt it. They don't have the personnel.
The Kings will push the pace even
as a developer, as a coach, as a trainer. It takes a lot of time. As a psychologist, it takes a lot of time to retrain somebody's personality, like super duper duper hard. Usually it has to take some time to put type of a catastrophic, super traumatic event, loss of life, divorce, loss of job, aka getting cut from a team for teenagers and youngsters, for them to really be open to changing their personality at their core. So when I say scorer, slasher, sniper, playmaker, defender, these are at the core of people. I've trained players for decades, and their parents always say, oh, I want them to be more confident. I want them to be more vocal. I want them to be more outgoing. It's not going to happen. Very, very unlikely.
and after.
So certain guys, they play a certain style. They played that way their whole life. It's very, very hard to change somebody's style, aka Anthony Davis, LeBron. Are you trying to tell him to be more like Kobe? Kobe, are you trying to tell him to be more like LeBron? Certain guys, they're just not going to do it. As good as Shaq was, he could have been way better. Was he going to put in the Kobe work ethic? Nope. People aren't built that way. People are different, and that's what makes people just unique and special in their own right.
A make. Notice Kevin Durant stops to talk to the officials. Nick Claxton starts jogging, and that's all it takes for Fox. Because there's no big man back in the lane, and this defender doesn't want to leave the corner, so Fox wisely cuts it back against the recovering defender and turns that into a three-point play. On this one, watch the big...
Little plays like this, mid-season, regular season, playoffs, you will not get that because players will be locked in.
Fox is about even with them, but he
Fool's
just
gold.
takes the gas to beat them down the court, which means there isn't a shot blocker to help when he decelerates nicely and finishes. Fox's recognition has been great in these spots. His man crashes the glass, and that's all it takes to find an opening. This looks like a 3-on-4, but someone new now needs to guard Fox. So until Caleb Martin gets back in his path, this is really a 2-on-1 on the near side of the floor. Fox recognizes it and turns it into another easy score. De'Aaron might actually be their best offensive player right now, thanks to a jump in outside shooting to start this season. He's still inconsistent compared to high-level passers, but he's shooting a blazing 52% from the mid-range this season, and his body control setting up these shots has made a huge difference. And it's not like the Kings don't run pick and rolls with Fox and their other playmaking guards, but these actions aren't vanilla. For instance,
this is more poise.
And it's not like the Kings
The game is slowing down. He's still very fast, but settling into these little pockets here, knowing he has him on his hip, he can just turn the corner, right, draw the help side there and dime it off.
Aren't vanilla. For instance, they'll look for a cutter first, then he'll sit in the lane and he can go screen in the Spain pick and roll. We talked about these evolutionary pick and roll actions last season, and the Kings use them regularly. This time the guard doesn't screen and pulls his man right out of the way. And I love how Sacramento blends all these strengths. Sabonis flows into a handoff. He's dangerous as a roller, but there's movement here too. Instead of screening, Terrence Davis slips backdoor and cuts all the way across the floor, so Huerter can set a little screen, and well, everyone is working.
Right here, Davion Mitchell should have 45 cut real quick. Kevin Huerter could set that exit screen, and this could be an easy drive from Malik Monk. If Davion Mitchell would have cleared out that space, you'd have a lot more space on this side for a pass to the corner.
Worried about the ball, it turns into an open corner. 3.
So see, in that case, Davion Mitchell's just in the way.
All the way across the floor.
And number
so
0
screen,
is actually in the passing lane.
Ball, it turns into an open corner 3. Of course, if you overreact to a corner cut like that while the pick and roll is happening, it opens the door for Sabonis on the roll. And this is the beauty of the
Clear out the
Kings'
space,
offense.
man.
They have multiple playmakers who can push the pace in transition.
Sabonis is usually under control
movement actions
in transition. Doesn't mind using body, has a decent little Euro step.
Movement and screening that taxes defenses. Here's what Warriors
Mike
coach
Brown
Steve
seems like he's
Kerr
done a great
had to
job
say
of
about
teaching
them
these guys.
after their last game.
And offensively, they've really built an identity, with the shooting and the downhill DHO stuff with Sabonis. It's tough to guard, so Mike has done a terrific job.
Think about guarding all these options. Huerter can curl around this screen or go back door. Then he can cut out of the paint in a number of different directions, set a back screen in Spain pick and roll, or cut to the near corner. Instead,
Or he could just do nothing and walk and wait like most players, and just, since they're not actually a part of the play, they just clear out and wait their turn.
sets a screen, then curls to the top, and the backup is Sabonis offense. And because other players are constantly moving, a brief lapse turns into an easy shot right at the rim. That pass was a little late because Sabonis isn't Jokic, and Huerter isn't Curry, and Fox isn't Nash. But
Waited till the end to say all that.
no team has
Hyped him up the whole time, and
lost
then
more games than the Sacramento Kings. They haven't made the playoffs since 2006. And yet, by combining the offensive principles of the NBA's
Leandro
reigning
Barbosa
dynasty and its reigning MVP with a little pace and space sprinkled in, the Sacramento Kings, yes, the Sacramento Kings have built one of the best offenses in the NBA, and it's made them a playoff quality team for the first time.
huge ups to Mike Brown for adapting his coaching style, getting these players to fall into an identity, and they're getting some success. Definitely don't think they'll win a championship. They just don't have the personnel, but it's good to see a franchise improving and on the rise, and get the bum old guard out of here, the dinosaurs. Keep evolving. Until next video, take 14 minutes, 24 seconds, or 1% of your day to get better. Peace.